Welcome to another episode of the No More Wasted Days podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Sarah,
I'm Heather.
and today we are talking all about navigating your alcohol free journey, even when the world feels kind of like an uncertain place, which with news these days, that's how it kind of feels. And even with personal issues that may pop up, which I will be talking about in this episode because I just had a pretty major one pop up that totally threw life kind of, I can't think of the right word. It just made everything go way off. It was just like, whoa, wasn't expecting that. So when we have those things where we're just not expecting it, it can feel like it's really going to knock us off of our journey and feel like, oh, I could just turn to alcohol in this moment. But we're going to give you tips and strategies so you don't feel like you need to do that and you feel strong on your alcohol free journey, no matter what's happening around you. First, Heather wanted to share something.
Yes. So, y'all know that Sarah has been wanting to get 100 ratings and reviews on Apple
Oh,
specifically.
yeah.
We love all of them, and all of them mean something, but some of them we can't see the comments. So, we hit 103 this year on Apple, and I want to give a shout out to whomever wrote, "So good. Wow, so well said. It made me feel informed, but not overwhelmed. Thank you. I look forward to listening to more," with a little butterfly emojis.
Yeah,
So
I
thank
saw
you.
that one too. I'm like, I love it. Thank you guys so much for writing those reviews. It means a lot.
Yes.
And now we could start watching the Spotify number go up.
Right?
Because watch Apple go to 200 now because I know we can get there and I know we have very loyal listeners that listen each week just because I talk to some of you and you'll go, "Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I listen every single week." So, if you haven't happened to hit the star or the heart, whatever it is on the podcast app you're listening to, or write a review, go for it. And on Spotify and YouTube, you can actually leave comments.
Mhm.
And those are so cool
Yeah.
because
Ask us some questions.
yeah, definitely ask us questions because it's a way where we can kind of craft episodes too, where if we start hearing people say they want this topic, it's like, oh, if enough people want it, then it's like, and sometimes too, I was talking to my husband about this, it gets harder for me to remember what was happening at the very beginning of my alcohol free journey. So when you guys remind me, I'll go, oh, yeah, we can talk about that. So share away. All right. Are you ready to dive into this topic?
I'm ready.
Okay. I came up with this idea last night. I was looking through what was supposed to be my planned topic because I do actually I plan out like 3 months in advance what I'll be talking about on the podcast. So I know I'm hitting a lot of different topics. But I looked at my topic last night and I said, oh, it's going to be a lot of research. I was doing last minute research because my husband had to have an emergency appendectomy on Monday. And I was like, oh man, I don't think I can do the research I need to do for this episode. And then I thought, why don't I talk about this? This is something that happens to people where something happens in your life and you just are shifting everything around to make sure that, like, we had to make sure Ryan was getting taken care of, number one, right? But he got sick over the weekend actually. And we thought it was a stomach bug. Like, I was pretty sure I was getting sick. I think I had psychosomatic symptoms. I was like, oh my gosh, it's the norovirus. No. And then none of us were getting sick. It was just Ryan. And I was like, okay, he has food poisoning, but then he wasn't getting better. And we waited till Monday morning to urgent care because we were still like, I don't know. But everybody kind of laughed at us at the emergency room, like, you went to urgent care first? We're like, well, we weren't sure. You know it's serious though when you go to urgent care, you sign in and they just usher you right off to the room. There's no waiting in the waiting room for 2 hours. I looked at Ryan, I said, "Don't we need to, like, sit here for 2 hours?" He was like, "Well, I guess not. We're just going somewhere." And I was like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, it was just, I don't think it even hit me what a big situation it was until, like, it was all over. And it turned out that his appendix had actually ruptured. We didn't know. They didn't know either from the CT scan, but man, it was like navigating the world, being super stressed, making sure I was communicating with, like, my day makers, my push to 100 people, my parents to get my kids from school. But it's all fine now. But I thought, well, what a great topic, because if this would have happened to me when I was brand new to my alcohol-free journey, I know I could have done it because I was pretty solid on my alcohol-free journey the final time I did it. Fingers crossed the final time. How do you think you would have done in something like this
As a
at the
drinker?
very beginning? Like, well,
Oh,
as a drinker, oh god, as a drinker, I reflected so much, like, "Oh my god, I this
Yeah,
I don't even know.
I mean, if it woulda happened during the first 30 days, I'm probably would have drank over it, honestly, like some emergent thing. I mean, I got
Mhm.
diagnosed with cancer at, like, 90 to 100 days. That was
Yeah,
terrible
yeah,
in many ways, but I had a little more time under my belt and a lot more tools
mhm,
and an army of support. So but in the first 30 days, some sudden surgical need, followed by, like, an acute medical crisis. I don't know.
right? But you did it. I mean, when you think about it, you did it at 100 days, and that's still really early in your journey. You don't feel like it's so early in your journey. You feel like, "Man, I've got this 100 days."
Yeah.
Then you get past it and you're like, "Whoa, I was like a sober newborn."
Oh god. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard with things happen spontaneously or bad, really, when you're
Yeah.
first on your journey or no matter where you are on your path, because 'cause you're like, "Nobody wrote a rule book for me on how to do this."
Exactly. And no, but it yeah, that's so true. So well spoken too, because it is like, I know that I had little tools in place in the beginning. And those are the things that I'm going to talk about today for you guys, because I do talk to a lot of people who will say it's just so stressful, or I'm doing great. And then it just got too stressful. And they just want that, the instant like comfort. I hate to use that word, but that is what happens. Like you
Yeah.
drink and you're instantly like, oh, goes away, and we'll talk about that it actually doesn't go away. But yeah, I was thinking about a lot during all of this, like, and still, because it's still going on, right? Like I asked Ryan today, even like, "Oh, do you want me to record? Like, would you rather me just kind of be on the ready?" And he's like, "Oh no, go about your life
Mhm.
normal, please." But I was like, as a drinker, I would have been figuring out like, can I drink? Is it appropriate if I started drinking now? Like once he got home, and like, I don't know. I know my brain wouldn't have been where it's been with all. I've been much more clear headed through all of this. And I've been very impressed with myself realizing that it's okay for us to ask for help, tell people we need a little extra time. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing like yesterday, I wrote my mom and dad, they'd been going, tell us what we can do, tell us what we can do. And they had already taken our kids from school the first day. And then I wrote them and I said, hey, can you just go switch the laundry loads for me? Because I need to make sure we've got clean sheets going on the bed when Ryan gets home, because we were kind of switching where he sleeps. So he wasn't having to deal with stairs. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so proud of myself
Yeah.
for asking for help," like, telling you, like, "I'm gonna be 15 minutes late today." I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, okay." But even beyond that, I know people may be listening, they're like, "Well, I don't have some, like, major situation happening." I think that lately, every day when I wake up, there's some new bit of news where I'm just like, "What? Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?" So I think our world is in a funky place too. So I think that this will help anybody on their journey. So why Oh, go ahead.
I
You were
was
gonna
just
say
gonna
something.
say, like, hang with us because the point really and this is the Enneagram 6 and planner in me, is you don't know when things are gonna happen, and if you have some strategies say you have a shitty day at work or your boss is a jerk, or I don't it could be
Mm.
applicable to any of those things.
Oh,
So
yeah, definitely. So why do life's uncertainties make us feel like we wanna drink? Why is that our first thing? And the first thing is it's that comfort reflex. I touched on it just a little bit in the intro, but when stress or fear or uncertainty hit, I know I first am trying to figure out how to self-soothe. And in my drinking days, that would have been drinking. I don't think I realized that I used it as a self-soothing technique until I quit. Then it would pop into my brain and go, "Oh, you should drink right now." And it just feels like an easy escape. But from listening to previous episodes lately, we know that then we're in that cycle of we feel really good while we're drinking. The problem goes away in quotation marks, but then it comes back the next day and it's still there. And now you've drank. And if you're trying to be really intentional about being on an alcohol free journey, then you're feeling guilty. So now you've got stress and guilt, which are not a good combination. And then the next thing is that lack of routine and structure that pops up when these things happen. It is just like that is probably the most jarring thing for me. And sometimes I will think to myself, oh, I shouldn't even do my morning routine. This isn't about me right now. But then I do have to step back and say, well, what parts of it can I bring in? What parts of it can I make sure I'm still doing? Because it is just right now, like Ryan can't drive for like a week and he can't lift heavy things for a while. So it does mean like a lot of things are, I'm taking them on, which is not a big deal. I know how to do it all, right? But it is me going, "Hey, this is like I need to remember. I need to remind myself.
Mhm.
1, it's temporary. 2, I know he would do the same thing for me." And then it is just kind of going, "Hey, what can you do still to make your life feel normal?" And we're going to talk about that for sure. And then it can also just bring in that exhaustion factor. And this one I think can go into like the news or just other like stress at work, right? You're feeling exhausted of things constantly coming at you. And you're just like, I can't take it anymore. Like, I am so stuck in this. And it can make willpower feel weaker, which sometimes I don't think willpower is real. How do you feel about willpower?
I don't make the rules, so your, goals may feel harder to reach.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's what I think more than I wrote willpower and I was like, I don't know about that one. But it can just feel like alcohol is that shortcut to relax. And when we know that, if you're brand new in your journey, that can feel very, very real in your brain. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't think, oh, drinking would help this. Do you feel like this? You're almost 4 years in.
No.
Yeah, that's what I tell people when they're like, I just always know it's the thing that'll work. And I'm like, I know I can never think of something that will work as instantly as alcohol, right? I can never offer anybody that. But what I did tell somebody recently was the more you keep going, you forget that feeling. You forget how it helped and you forget that you don't even think of it as an option. So sometimes it is a number of just stringing the sober days together. And then very last is cultural and social pressure is what can really make these moments feel hard. Obviously, the news cycles that are filled with fear and uncertainty, like that is their job to make us feel like that. I limit the news that I watch or take in. Are you the same?
I Yes, I did a thesis in college on news media related
Oh,
depression
yeah.
after 9/11. So, I am almost avoidant, which I'm not saying is good, but someone will
Mhm.
say, "Did you hear blah blah?" And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
tell me about it." So, I think
I'm very
it's very stressful, and I know that outcome and the impact, and I avoid it, which is also not good either because I don't know nothing, not a thing,
Yeah,
hardly.
right, which can be like, "Oh, am I making the right choice by knowing nothing?" Or I think you have to create the boundary that works for you,
Yeah.
and I know for me, I will take it in through little blurbs in my email from a news source, and I'll be like, "Okay, I got the gist. If I wanna go research something more, I can. If that makes me feel stressed, I can turn it off." Like, I just have to know pick and choose because I always think too, it's one thing to read and dread and freak out, but if you can't go out and, do something about it, if you can't figure out the way to do that, then either A, research how to do that, or B, then it's something that you don't need to take on emotionally. That's kind of where I live with that. I don't know. People may agree or disagree with that. But even along with that, with the social pressure, is that then there's the normalization of drinking during these times. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many comments I've gotten recently. Like, I can't quit drinking right now. The world feels like it's falling apart. There's no way. And to those people, I always say, you can't help the world get better if you're drunk.
This is a
Like,
fact.
yeah, I
I've
have a
tried.
friend who says, she goes, "You can't fight the patriarchy if you're drunk."
No,
Like,
I have
yeah.
as a social worker, a social justice warrior, as a boots on the ground person, you can't do it if you're drunk. I promise
Yeah.
you. I've done
Or if you're hungover,
behavioral.
right? We know, trust us. But that is my main thing I tell people all the time. And also, drinking will make it all feel worse. It'll just exacerbate all of it, right? So whether it's a life crisis, it's just the world being kind of a crazy place these days, and wherever you stand, I think it's still like
Mm,
this is a lot. A lot's happening every single day. So, how can we actually stay alcohol free during these times of disruption where we're just feeling like, oh shit, like give me a break, right? I feel like I'm doing good on this one. I don't feel like I'm the one being directly affected by all of it. So that does help. I also have a good little system now with my parents living closer. It's been very helpful knowing that they're like a phone call away to where even I was going, okay, I might need to get groceries. Oh, I can have my parents do it. And the thing I've realized too is they want to help. Like they want to figure out how to help. So almost by me giving them little chores, I'm like, oh, I think I'm helping them feel like they're contributing somehow. But so number one, I want you to, this one is huge. Okay. This one is like, I think the biggest one, I should have saved it for the last one, but I'm gonna give you the good stuff here. I want you to accept that life will be unpredictable, okay? If it's not this, it's gonna be something else. Like,
Mhm.
it will always happen, and you choosing to drink will not make those moments go away.
Nope.
And I'm trying to think, we have a day maker who always puts it so well, but she always talks about, like, the curveballs are gonna happen. Life's gonna come at you. Life is always going to be lifey, so you can't use that as an excuse. And I think once you shift that mindset to just like, I don't drink no matter what life throws my way, change your mindset to that and have that be an affirmation. If this is something where you're like, yeah, I do fall into the trap of being too stressed all the time, there's your affirmation. I don't drink no matter what life throws my way.
I was just pondering about so when you're talking about, like, life is always gonna give something's always gonna come up, that is very true, and being prepared for the unexpected may seem extreme to folks, and just having the tools and talking to people regularly,
Mhm.
getting it out of your head, out of your mouth, or journaling, because when folks are in crisis or a state of urgency, let's say what happened with you on Monday, particularly when Ryan, like, there is no space for a lot of growing in that moment, and it's
Yeah.
after. So, to me, like, I had therapy today, and I was like, "I don't have a lot to talk about," and I hear my clients tell me that all the time. Then I remember that's where the magic is, because I'm not putting out a urgent fire emotionally or
Mhm.
mentally, and it does allow for more work on your actual self versus, like, an acute crisis, right? And
Yeah.
in terms of if it's not one thing, it's the other, on my 1,000 day engraved cup, it says, "If it's not one thing, it's your mother." So,
And we're both mothers. We'll be that person
yeah,
one day,
I'll be on my daughter's Yeti, and I'm okay with that, and I thought that would
right?
make you laugh 'cause it's not one
Oh my
thing,
god.
it's your mother. So,
We joke with our kids. We're like, "I wonder if this'll be the moment that you talk to your therapist." And now
right.
they've even started laughing because 'cause
Mhm.
I'm just like, "You don't know what it's gonna be, guys. I don't know what you're gonna remember about
It'll be
me."
something. I hope that I have good funds for to put toward it a little bit.
Right, to help out.
Yep.
So that first thing, it really is just having that mindset, knowing life is gonna throw curveballs at you.
Mhm,
It's kind of that saying, like, the only thing constant in life is change. Okay, so
mhm.
stick to that. I mean, it's so true. And it is when things are going great, that is the time to lean in and do all the other work. And that's when you a lot of times don't wanna do it. You don't wanna do the work when you're feeling amazing, and you don't wanna do the work when you're feeling totally crappy.
Mhm.
So it's that middle ground where you're always kind of like, okay, I'm willing to do this. It's keeping the ship running. But do it when you're feeling really good, please,
Yes,
because I do think that's when you have good breakthroughs and you go,
yes.
oh, this is the stuff. So the next thing I want you to do is to control what you can, even if it's super small. So things I've been thinking about is like drinking water, eating some fruits and vegetables. That was one yesterday because after the first day, I was like, oh my God, I ate the crappiest food all day. Like I need to make sure I have some fruits and vegetables happening. So the second day I was a little more intentional. I was like, you have control over this. Make some different choices. And really think about that. It's thinking to yourself, like, right now my life is messy, but in the evening I can make the choice to have a mocktail or a cup of tea or whatever it is that's not alcohol. Be very intentional. And maybe it's that you can stay hydrated. Maybe you can still squeeze in movement. Sometimes when we're having these kind of moments, it is like, okay, regular exercise maybe isn't going to happen. How can I do it in other ways? Maybe it's a dance party. Like that'll elevate your mood
Yes.
and you're moving your body. So just really think about what are those things that I can still control? And for me, it has been water because man, water always helps. It really, really does.
It really does.
And then the fruits and vegetables. What are your things when everything's feeling like, "What?" What are your things that you're like, "I'm still gonna do this one thing?"
Water is non-negotiable, and for those who watch the podcast or video, I still drink while I talk. So, that and trying to maintain some form of routine within the non-routine
Mhm.
and still trying to reach out to folks, those are pretty non-negotiable. Like, I'm gonna show up to therapy every week unless
Yeah.
I'm half dead. Truth true.
Mhm.
And those are the type of commitments that I think make these unexpected things doable. And I do eat much healthier, and I have my tea bar, by the way, and I have my like cup of tea at night and like my skincare, so on and so forth, because the way I do one thing is how I do everything. So
Yeah.
I try to keep it fairly simple and consistent.
Yeah. Very true. The way I do one thing is the way I do everything. That's one. That's one you
Mm.
gotta remember,
That can be great. That can
right?
also be a dumpster fire. I've been there too.
Yeah, me too. So the third thing is to lean into the true stress relief techniques. So alcohol is not a true stress relief technique. We say it all the time here. So if you're new, just remember that it's not a true form for stress relief. It can feel like it, but it really is not. So some of those real coping tools are breath work, my favorite meditation, journaling, or taking short mindful walks. That was something I was thinking about yesterday or the first day actually. I was like, maybe you should go for a walk. I did not, but I probably would have helped things, right? I think I was feeling like I'm okay right now, but it's those little things. Just say, okay, I'm going to connect with the day makers if you're part of the community or whatever community you have. Like that was really important to me because I think a lot of times I shut out my personal life. And I'm like, nobody needs to know that this is going on. And I was like, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So it was like, send a quick message, make sure the people know. And for me too, it is leaning in like I'm leading a call tonight with the day makers. And I thought for a moment, oh, maybe I should message Heather and see if she can do this one. And I was like, no. I need to see my people. Like, this is a really important time to see my people.
Yeah.
So, like you were talking about therapy.
Yes. I want to share something that I discovered and did this week. I hope I can describe it correctly. It's bilateral drawing, and you take any type of pen, pencil, crayon, what have you, medium, and you the opposite way in circles. It's
Hmm.
supposed to be really good for nervous system regulation. So
Hmm.
I didn't come
Very
up with
cool.
that on my own, but that's a new little addition, and y'all can look it up and see if you like it.
Add it to your thing. I know I'm always being like, add different things, try different things because sometimes it's going to land different. And I know for me, when I'm having stuff like this happen, it's like my routine falls off for a moment and then I go, get your meditation back. That's step one. It's like, just get back to that. So it is like, find that one thing that is your thing, get that back, and then try other things because sometimes you just fall out of patterns or you just don't like that thing anymore. It doesn't work for you. Okay, the fourth technique is to keep your alcohol free identity strong. I think that this is most important through affirmations, reminding yourself that you're not a drinker anymore. Like if the thoughts are creeping up, like what if you, like your brain's kind of saying, what if you have a little alcohol right now? What if you take a little drink? And you're like, no, why would I do that? I'm not a drinker anymore. You have to be very strong in that conviction. That's where affirmations come into play, doing those every day. But actually telling yourself, and this is an affirmation that I used a lot in the beginning, drinking won't help this. It will only hurt this. That was a big one. When I was stressed, drinking won't help this. It will only hurt this. I'd walk around the house saying it. I'm sure I've said that on this podcast before, but have something like that and really think to yourself, like, how would drinking help this problem? And I had to pause there because I had to put quotations around help because it won't. Let me just tell you that right now. It won't. I actually like to picture like in these moments, like what would this have looked like as a drinker? And that actually helps me stay really strong in my alcohol-free identity and go, whoa, I'm so glad I'm where I am right now. What do you do to keep your alcohol-free identity strong?
I do the affirmations, and when I meet people, it's like part of my introduction. Like, depends on what it is or
Yeah.
where I am. I don't just walk up to people at the grocery store and say, "Hi, I'm Heather. I don't drink." But I practice in that way, and I don't like go. I don't even look down the alcohol aisles at the stores. Like, it is a part.
Mhm.
I have no business being there. It's like the baby aisle. I miss the baby aisle, but I don't need anything from the baby aisle. So why am I going to go down the baby aisle? So those are part of it. And for the most part, most of my friends don't drink. So that helps reinforce.
Yeah. I love having friends that never knew me as a drinker. I think like that's one of my coolest things.
And I don't really have those.
Really? Like, I guess it's probably since we because we moved, And it is like, "Oh, I like that." And sometimes, you meet the people who have to have the comment of like, "I wish I woulda known you as a drinker." I'm like, "Whatever."
Mm,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
you
have to be
don't.
like, "No, you don't, actually.
I'm always like, "Oh, you would have liked it," until
You
it's
didn't."
just that I didn't like it.
Mm,
So, then the very 5th idea that I want you to think about when you're having these moments is be extra protective of your energy. And that is really thinking like, limit the doom scrolling, limit the habits that you know are not healthy, the disassociating habits. Like, I wanna just say, like, there's a time, right? There's a
oh, yeah.
time and a place where sometimes those are good. But oftentimes, if you start scrolling on social media, everything's going good until it's becoming this like, oh my gosh, like my algorithm totally took me on like a feminism kick, which at first I was like, I am loving this. Oh, heck yeah. Like a very liberal kick. I was like, I'm all here. And then I was like, okay, it's actually just starting to make me think about like the world's coming crashing down on me and there's nothing I can do about it. And I was like, time to be done with this, time to listen to a funny podcast, something that I have control of where I know they're not going to talk about politics. I know they're not going to, it is like, think about that stuff, especially if you have other life stress happening, limit your consumption. Like we were talking about news consumption,
Yeah.
limit.
And when you have a lot of
You know,
stress, stress breeds stress, so you're gonna probably be more naturally drawn to algorithms, like, you're gonna be look more drawn to that type of content,
yeah,
and,
because the
you know
algorithm can read your mind.
well, maybe, but, like, you're gonna get I used to fight for my life in the comments before I quit drinking,
Oh my God.
and then
Oh,
after I quit drinking, I was like, "I got to get out these comments," like and I would never people probably be like, "Really?" But it's true, I did. So I have to stay away because guess what? I don't wanna go back to the maladaptive fighting for my life in the comments 'cause all it does is piss me off.
oh my God. You're speaking my language.
If I
I have
get
to do it on my own reels because sometimes like my own reels or TikToks will start going viral. And and that has happened during all of this. One of them is like I made it months ago and it's just come up. Mean comments popping up on my phone during all of this. I'm looking at Ryan going, oh, that AA TikTok's going viral.
oh,
It's like lots of people being kind of mean to me. I just haven't even gone into the comments. Like I've just been like, "Oh, I don't need to that's not a place I need to be right now." So, it is like be protective of that.
yes, Lord. Protect all your peace all the time,
Yeah. Oh
and
my god. And
really
when you
protect it when you have shit going on.
yes, and when you say stay out of the comments, even beyond that, like I'll catch myself sometimes going, "I'm gonna go into the comments."
Me too.
And I'll start looking and I'll be like, "Oh, that's just a lie. I'm gonna tell that person." I'm like, "I'm not gonna tell that person anything.
Right,
I'm going to actually leave this comment section."
right, wash my face.
I don't leave a comment on somebody's else's reel unless it is funny. Like that's
Mm,
kind of my rule. Like if I'm like, "Oh yeah," if I agree, if it's funny, like that's it. Nope. Otherwise, there's no reason because I know what it feels like on that other end. I'm always like, "Oh, I'm a human." But I just want you to remember also to give yourself permission to rest in these times and give yourself permission to set boundaries. I knew Heather would be excited about that.
yeah,
Say no to things and also ask for help.
yes,
And know that there's people that are so willing to ask for help, like to help.
yes,
Know who those people are, and they don't know how to help a lot of the times.
yes. I had
So,
a friend come help me on Saturday, and I had find it hard to ask for help, and I needed help, and I'm only one person, and it was so amazing. So, if you're
it
listening,
just
thank you.
yeah, I know. My mom, I told her, "You don't know there's clothes in the dryer," and I wrote, "Of course," and I was like, "So just take those out, just pile them on my couch. I'll just put them back in and fluff them, and I'll fold them later." Oh, she folded them. I was like, "Oh, that was so nice."
Yeah,
So now I was able to, like, continue the laundry when I got home. I was like, "Oh, she knows." I probably could have said, "Can you go clean my whole house?" And she would have been like, "Sure." But then you're like, "Do I want my mom cleaning my whole house?" No. So one last thought for you is I just want you to think about all of these things when they happen in a bigger picture and how sobriety is actually going to prepare you for life's its ups and downs. And I agree with this so much. It's like it has taught me so much resilience. It has just made me so much better at handling life as it comes. Like things that would have thrown me off back in the day
oh,
don't even phase me now because
yeah,
little things used to throw me off because I was hungover.
mhm,
And just remember that drinking does not make any situations better. It just postpones you actually dealing with them.
yes,
So just really stay in that. Like, when you are in these moments, just be like, "Man, this is making me stronger for the next time. This is making me better for the little things."
Yeah. Be like Glinda when she comes out in the intro of Wicked and she's in that bubble. Put yourself in a bubble, and if a wand or a crown makes you happy or whatever accessory, do it. Protect yourself.
Yes, do. And just and always know that that's one thing that I'm always trying to tell people, like, every time you push through a craving, every time you push through a hard moment without drinking, it makes the next moment easier. And it is so true. It's so hard in the moment, but if you can remember that and keep that in your head as you're going through the hard times, it really does help. And I always felt like, okay, I'm going to make this into a game. This is like a little
Mhm.
test, and I'm going to pass it.
Yeah.
And just get in that mindset. It will help so much. So
Yes.
I just want you to think about what is one small thing that you can do today to ground yourself and to protect your sobriety so that when these things are coming at you, you're much more protected. And share those if you want to. Share them in our, you can tag us on Instagram, or you can go into the comments on Spotify or YouTube. And then I just want you to reflect and really start thinking about, really helps you feel better. It's not alcohol. So what are those things? And if you haven't already, check out the link in the show notes. Join us in the Daymakers. We mentioned it a few times, but we didn't mention this. One-on-one coaching with Heather is always available. Not always available. I'm sure there's times where she doesn't have openings, but I believe she does right now.
I do.
Yeah. So check those out.
Yeah. Check it out, y'all, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.